some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Baby, give me some love. Well, na 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 na. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're so. And I quit my job for you, even quit some friends for you, 'cause you couldn't stand it, me all independent, so you had to have me for yourself. That was when I trusted you, when I could add up 2 and 2, when you promised we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry.
Join our membership program, sign up, find out what's going on, become a patron, and support our work. We're doing these amazing virtual live streams covering events, marches, protests, and actions that mainstream media just isn't covering.
A lot of these very common sense policy interventions aren't given the space they need.
You know, the truth is, before we have the political revolution, we need a media revolution.
We really see this opening in the media space with television transitioning to the internet in particular. Streaming platforms, Netflix, Hulu, etc., are the next frontier.
And we're not mainstream media. You're not getting a 10-second clip and a very watered down, whitewashed version of what's going on.
Having a media company to support these kind of movement efforts is extremely valuable.
People want to talk to us because they know that we're talking to the people.
We need a dedicated, empowered, honorable base of people who are willing to fight for what they believe in.
This needs to be all of us, not just like watching great content, not just sharing great content, but taking the correlated action and making sure that together these movements are more effective across the board.
We are amplifying activist messages, activist movements, activist campaigns, activist call to action. There's no more important work to be done in this country right now, and ACT TV is doing it, and we need you to be a member. Go to act.tv and sign up to be a member today.
Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us, and wherever you're watching us, streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you are, especially to those of us watching us on ActTV, where they encourage you to do more than watch. They want you to act. Joining us this morning for this Movement Mondays, this Action Mondays, as always, is Sabrina Williams. She is the Chief Operating Officer at ActTV. Thank you so much for joining us again on this Monday morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
I know it has been a busy week and a busy weekend at ActTV. There's so many petition drives. There's so many campaigns. We didn't get a chance to meet last week, but we're here now. Could you just give us an update on some of the actions that are taking place and some of the things that ActTV is taking the charge on?
Yeah, Ben, I want to talk about stuff we did a few weeks ago, particularly around tax day, which was, I believe, Monday, April 18th, if my memory serves me correct. It was a day that, the majority of us Americans paid our taxes and did our part to support our communities, to support transportation, education, public access to healthcare, on and on and on. But, who didn't pay taxes was often very wealthy people, billionaires. So we supported a lot of our partners, did a number of tax day live streams, and I want to talk about those. And we have some great petitions and lots going on with our membership program. And want to let everyone know about that today.
No, absolutely. And again, you can go to act.tv/join. And I'm encouraging all of our supporters, those of us who watch the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, to go and contribute. Give your email address so that you can get updates, that you can get newsletters and be informed. One of the things, Sabrina, I loved about becoming a partner with ActTV was the inside look. Because it's not really inside access that you all have so much as you have an intentional inside look at the mechanisms of what's happening in Washington, D.C., which is why I know you all are so active on the petition drives. But it's really important that people have an inside view of what's happening, particularly from the progressive perspective. And that really is something that I am excited about partnering with you all. So I'll let you lead the way. Let's start with tax day, because as we know, so many billionaires don't pay as much as their secretaries as a matter of percentages. So what was ActTV helping out with on that week?
Oh, wow. We did a number of really fun, educational, informative streams with our partners that will incent you and anger you and hopefully inspire you to take action. So we had some partners who we partnered with, and they put on an amazing live stream called It's Tax Day, #PayWhatYouOwe. And you heard a number of speakers and activists talking about how, the U.S. is the richest country in the world. We have the money. We have the money right here in this country. Some of it might be offshore, but we have the money for people to pay taxes to fund libraries, parks, public schools, public colleges and universities, all of the associated scholarships that taxes support, health care for people who can't afford it, roads, law enforcement, public transportation, salaries for our government employees who make it all happen, who keep us safe, right? Make sure our food, our drugs, our everything is safe. That is where our tax dollars go. We pay our fair share. It's time for the rich people to pay their fair share.
Absolutely. And Sabrina, what's so frustrating about that is the fact that it's so burdensome for small business owners, for just the average American to even keep up with their taxes, to pay their taxes, to go through the process. And yet we don't have at our disposal all of the lawyers and accountants to help us. And so it just becomes like a double whammy. Not only do we have to pay as the average citizen or as the average business owner, we have to pay out, but we have to do so by giving so much of our time. I think I saw it takes the average American 30 hours to do their taxes each year. So we're doing labor on top of giving away our money. But the rich, they simply don't have that burden, do they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They, it's kind of this whole systemic effect, right? Where they start off, buying politicians who will pass these tax laws that benefit them, this small segment, this small wealthy segment of society, and not poor and middle class people. I would even argue that often don't help millionaires quite as much. So we're really talking about the wealthiest people in society, right? And so they get these laws passed, and then they end up paying less and less and less money, sometimes zero, because of all these tax loopholes. And at the end of the day, when we keep voting for these politicians who represent millionaires and billionaires and not poor and middle class people, we're voting against ourselves. We're voting against our public schools. We're voting against, new roads in our communities. We're voting against amazing public parks. We're voting against, having well-paid public servants to be able to do what they need to do. Fire, rescue, EMS, police officers, social workers who work for the state, on and on and on. These are all public goods that keep our society function smoothly. This is part of the social safety net that we all pay into so that we can all benefit from. And billionaires will often say, well, I create jobs, but at the end of the day, your products, you drive your trucks on roads to deliver your goods and services to whoever. You didn't pay for those roads.
That's right. Tax
dollars pay for those roads. You hire people. Where did these people get educated? In public colleges and universities. Public colleges and universities, tuition is subsidized by taxpayer dollars. These people often went to K through 12 schools, right? Paid for by taxpayer dollars. You're often getting tax breaks in the jurisdiction that you set up your corporate headquarters in. Tax breaks that who paid for? The public. So at the end of the day, let's not vote for, politicians who have billionaires back. They don't need anyone to have their back. We need people to have our back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. ActTV also broadcasts the pursuit of happiness. And this most recent episode, they were comparing how easy, or rather how difficult it is to file taxes here in the United States, something I was just thinking about. Tell us about that particular broadcast and ActTV's coverage there.
Yeah, I wish Jocelyn was on today. She is, the host, and her show is called The Pursuit of Happiness. You can go to act.tv and find out when she is in our lineup, when The Pursuit of Happiness is in the lineup. I believe it's Wednesdays at 3 p.m. every week, and maybe one other time per week. Anyway, last week she had on guest T.R. Reid. He is the author of A Fine Mess. And what this amazing, intelligent, insightful, and innovative man did is he went around the world trying to file his taxes. And or working with people who lived in the country, citizens of the countries, to file taxes, to figure out how difficult is it in Singapore and China and Malaysia and India and Nepal. How difficult is it to file taxes? And what he found was the U.S. has the most difficult system. In many countries, the government files your taxes for you. You get a form from the government, say about your car registration or some type of money you owe, and it'll say, hey, you last paid this bill in 2015, now it's 2022, and you owe $500, and they tell you what you owe. Well, in a lot of countries, that's how taxes work. They send you a form and it says, look, we know last year you made this much and you paid this much, and here's your refund. And if you agree, sign, and we'll get the money within a few days. Or you owe, another $200. And if you disagree, you fill this form and we'll do an audit or whatever, and you sign it. They do your taxes for you, and it's you just agreeing or disagreeing, and it all works out, and people are excited. And the point is, it's easy. There's fewer loopholes, if any, for billionaires to hoard their wealth, and it all works out. So read the book, A Fine Mess. But Jocelyn had him on, and she also talked about how H&R Block and Intuit have these lobbies that, they're against a simplified government, form of taxation, right? They, Intuit and H&R Block, benefit when taxes are difficult and you have to pay $50, $100, $300 to have them help you with your taxes, or for you to have access to their platform and software. And it's beneficial for them. It's terrible for the majority of Americans. And it's just not a good and efficient model of taxing your populace. It's just not.
That's so frustrating. Just listening to that, I'm definitely going to check out that particular episode, The Pursuit of Happiness. And this is just some of the coverage, right? ActTV, you all provide significant coverage from the progressive perspective. There's just so many things that ActTV provides in that context. Tell us a little bit more about the membership drive, the campaigns. Just tell us about where our supporters can go to support the rest of the programming happening at ActTV.
Yes, absolutely. So ActTV, we have a membership program. If you go to act.tv/join, you can sign up today to be a member. When you sign up to be a member, you are supporting the progressive movement. You are supporting activists, just like me, just like you, just like all the activists you see almost every day on our live streams and on our content that we push out on social media. When you become a member of ActTV, you stay abreast of what we're doing with our partners, and you can figure out how you can get involved. We are creating a progressive movement that empowers the left. We cover important content. No one else is doing what we are doing. You're not going to see the types of in-depth coverage that we do on the nightly news. You're not going to see it on your Sunday morning programs. If they even talk about some of these important issues, it's 10 and 20-second sound bites. It's not 1, 2, and 4 hour live streams. So sign up, act.tv/join, become a member. If you have an extra $10, $20, $100, sign up to become a patron. 100% of your money goes to support our work, to send our field producers into the field to cover these rallies and these protests and these actions by progressive activists on the left. They go to support our producers who bring you these amazing virtual live streams with our partners about just a vast array of issues, from reproductive justice to climate change to taxes to, tax the rich, fair wages and livable wages, on and on and on. Education, canceling student debt. These are really, really, really important issues. And when you sign up, you'll get a newsletter every week. And so act.tv/join, sign up, be a member, come join us.
As I'm looking at the different programs that ActTV is involved with, the next one is really near and dear to me, the Iranian nuclear deal. And when we pulled out as a nation underneath Donald Trump, Sabrina, that was a really significant flashpoint on the international stage. And I'm really excited to see ActTV stepping in there, discussing how we can win without war. Tell us about that campaign.
Yeah, so we can't take all the credit, as is usual. Like most things that get done in society, it's a partnership, it's a collaboration, it's a community. We have amazing partners at Win Without War, and we help put on a live stream. We help them put on a live stream called "How Can You Stop a War with Iran?" And you know how you stop a war with Iran? We had leading experts on talking about how we can re-enter the Iran nuclear deal, how we can re-enter the Iran nuclear deal and roll back Trump's disastrous foreign policies, particularly as they relate to Iran. You can follow the hashtag reseal the deal. Let's reseal the deal with Iran, and let's get back on the path to peace. Nuclear weapons are a lose situation for everyone. They are a lose-lose situation for the countries that have nuclear weapons, and that includes the United States. They are a lose-lose for the environment, for the planet, for everyone. They do not increase peace. The more weapons people have, the more they want to use it, the more countries go around bullying each other. Matt Duss was on. He's Bernie's foreign policy advisor. He said something really amazing on the stream. He said, before we even end war, can we end the mindset that leads to war, right? We especially in the United States, we've got to get out of this, military industrial complex mindset. And I don't want to say that most of, Americans, I think we go along with what our elected leaders want, but let's elect leaders that don't subscribe to the military industrial complex, and that war is the answer to everything. If our goal is peace and a more secure America, war is not the answer. Rana Epting, the executive director of Move On, was also on that panel. the Stop War with Iran panel. And she said, it's not in any of our interest to engage in war. Don't let anyone fool you. I don't care if the war is in another continent with people you've never seen before, you don't speak their language. War impacts you. It impacts the planet. It impacts you. Refugees have to go somewhere. It destroys economies. And guess what? The economy is global now. Often, it either empowers a global bully or it disempowers a free and, thriving nation that should be, proliferating and becoming strong. But instead, we're allowing, global military bullies to crush these countries. At the end of the day, war doesn't benefit anyone. The majority of Americans support the U.S. getting back into the Iran deal, something like over 60%. So let's reseal the deal. You can watch that live stream on act.tv or Win Without War, how you can stop a war without Iran.
That is so important. I can't stress enough, simply because of how reckless it was for Donald Trump to pull us out of that in the first place. Completely reckless. And, as to what the different guests were saying about the mindset that leads to war, I think that's the clearest difference of Act TV, compared to mainstream media. If you look at the commercial breaks for mainstream media, you can see why there is a mindset from war here in this country, because there's so much of our media that is literally funded by defense contractors. You can't watch a half hour of mainstream television and not catch several defense contractor commercials. And they're not going to find anything like that on Act TV. But not only that, you're pushing back against the narrative of war. It's just something that we're not seeing in our media enough today.
You're right. War is a drain on humanity in so many ways. It takes often, young men and women who have not fully invested in themselves and their lives, takes them and puts them often in foreign lands. It corrupts their minds as to who is the real enemy. Often our soldiers come back with complex PTSD and other mental health issues. That doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? They're coming home to families, to husbands, to wives, to children. And so those mental health issues are often perpetuated for generations, right? And that's just one thing, like I said, the economic damage, the damage to the environment, not just locally, right? Many of these nuclear weapons, the impact environmentally doesn't just stay within like a 20-mile radius. Water flows globally. Air it moves all around from continent to continent. These have, really wide-reaching impact, and it impacts all of us. War is not in any of our best interests. And it's what we can do, though, to act is to contact your elected officials. Well, first of all, like I always say, vote for the elected officials who reflect your values. And if your values are not war, which we hope they are, then elect anti-war politicians. And then when things like, re-entering the Iran deal come up, contact them and say, listen, I'm holding you accountable. Your campaign promises said you're going to be anti-war. I expect you to, vote for, the United States to reseal the deal with Iran. Okay. And let's hold people accountable. So there definitely are tangible things that you can do to prevent war in this country and prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons across the globe.
Absolutely. It is hashtag stop the war with Iran. I mean, this is so critical. And I'm excited to be partnering with you as you all are partnering with others. Sabrina, what else do we have on the docket? Because I know Act TV has been busy with all of the partners standing on the front lines of so many different issues.
Oh gosh, what else do we talk about? So one of the things I want to talk about, we have an amazing partnership with Laura Packard of Healthcare Voices. Last week, she talked about healthcare and our tax system. And, again, I know we've talked a lot about tax on this show, but, for people who don't have employer-sponsored healthcare, for people who cannot afford to buy healthcare on the open market, who may be unemployed, whatever their issue is, we need our public healthcare systems and public health insurance systems funded, right? And the funding comes from tax dollars. Middle-class people and poor people who pay taxes, we can only do but so much. We need corporations and we need wealthy people to pay their taxes. They have amazing insurance. Even our elected officials have amazing insurance. Their health insurance is a right. Health coverage is a right. Health care is a right. there's no reason why everyone in this country should not have appropriate health care. There's absolutely no reason. Right. So anyway, on our show within the past week or two, Care Talk with Laura Packard, healthcare and our tax system. If you want to understand a little bit more about how when billionaires and wealthy people don't pay into the tax system, the impact on healthcare, you can go to act.tv on Facebook. You can watch us on Twitter, and you can watch Laura's entire show, Healthcare and the Tax System, and understand how when billionaires don't pay their taxes, it impacts you. And even if you have healthcare, there's probably someone living in your community, at least one person who doesn't have healthcare. And you know what? When they get sick, when their child gets sick because they couldn't afford healthcare, and gets your child sick, gets other people sick, when they rack up $1 million bill because they couldn't afford to have preventative care, and now they have to have this very expensive heart surgery or kidney transplant, you know who pays for that? You do. It's in everyone's best interest for everyone to have healthcare.
It's right there in front of us. It's so simple. And I think that sometimes people don't see it because they don't want to see it, Sabrina. Between all of the petitions, all of the different shows that Activity is sponsoring, the different partnerships, the live streams, the actions, that's all the more reason for everyone to support this. And it's not even just financial support. Financial support is the second part. The first part is to join the list. When we say go to act.tv/join, you'll be joining the email list where you will find out more information about all of these different activities. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, after that, after they have joined the email list and become a member, then they can make the decision whether or not they want to become a paid patron to Act TV. Do I have that order correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So you go to act.tv/join, sign up and become a member. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Put your email address in. We will not spam you. Believe me. We don't, people on the left, we don't spam people. We will not spam you. We will send you 1 to 2 emails a week. One will be a weekly newsletter about all of the amazing actions that we're covering, all of the amazing things that we're doing. We will send you another one about, various different topics in the news cycle, whether it's stopping war profiteering, canceling student debt, right. Things about marijuana reform, climate change, on and on and on. So you will get valuable information from us. You will get, access to petitions. We will send you petition links. Add your name. They make a difference. I've talked about this on previous shows. Your name on a petition makes a huge, huge difference to the people that see it, the elected officials, the corporations, et cetera. And we've had some wins at Act TV with petitions. But so sign up to become a member. Like I said, if you enjoy our work and you want to see it continue, think about becoming a patron. A patron is a paid member. And with that, you get a few special benefits. We will have we will have occasional events just for our patrons. I'm actually thinking of a really exciting event later, probably in the summer or the fall. Our patrons will get details about that, hopefully in the near future. But so there's some special benefits to becoming a patron. And like I said, 100% of your money goes to supporting Act TV's very, very, very important work. No one else is doing this work. If we're not here, where will you see a whole live stream about resealing the deal and getting back into the Iran, anti-nuclear, weapons deal? Where will you see a live stream all about how billionaires need to pay their taxes, about, climate change or reproductive justice or what have you? These are really important things. Again, support Act TV. At the end of the day, when you support Act TV, you're supporting yourself. You're supporting the issues that matter to you. So ActTV/join and join us.
Sabrina Williams, Chief Operating Officer of Act TV. I always enjoy these Mondays so that then we can not only catch up, but see what's ahead for the progressive movement. And thanks a lot to all of you over there at Act TV.
Thank you. Thank
you. We
look
forward to being with you next week. The pleasure is definitely ours. Stay tuned in. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
boy. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Swerving, making plays, Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man.
Don't feel right. I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her. We been chillin' on the Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Always down every weekend. No, love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is Friday. It is April 29th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us, wherever you're joining us from, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or ActTV, our partners at ActTV, where they encourage you to do more than watch. They want you to act. Go to ActTV/join to become a member. I want to begin like we always do on our show, where you root our show in Black history. It's something as you mature in this political, economic world that is America, it's something when you realize how much of your history has been kept from you, which is why I do believe Republicans are absolutely losing their minds over quote unquote critical race theory, which is nothing more than accurate history. Dr. Carl Mack, who's not with us this week because he is diligently working on Black Heritage Days 5 and 6, has left us with Black history to start and root our show in. So, hey, Google, what happened today in Black history?
On April 29, 1869, Edward Kennedy, Duke Ellington was born in Washington, D.C. He wrote over 1,000 compositions, the largest amount ever, and no other jazz artist recorded more music than the Duke. In 1959, he was honored by the NAACP with its prestigious Spingarn Medal. On his birthday in 1969, President Nixon honored Ellington with a birthday party at the White House and presented him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Carl Mack.
And again, Dr. Carl Mack is working on Black Heritage Days 5 and 6. Go to blackheritagedays.com to get, I think, it has to be one of the most comprehensive looks at Black history between all 6 of his calendars, 2 of them that are coming out shortly, it is a history that we need to know. And as you read it, I don't care what race you are, as you read Black history, particularly African Americans who were born in this country, you will see that we have made a significant contribution every step of the way since the Revolutionary War. I don't want to get Dr. Mack. This is Dr. Mack's beat. He doesn't consider himself to be a historian, but I certainly consider him to be our historian. He will be back after he has had a chance to complete Black Heritage Days 5 and 6. I want to also begin on Fridays. We have Pastor Anthony Galloway. He'll be joining us momentarily, but I want to begin with news out of Florida. Florida is now the least affordable state to live in. This is according to the CBS News. In February, Realtor.com designated Miami as America's least affordable place to live. Average monthly rents in the metro Miami area run around $2,900 and are on par with San Francisco and Los Angeles, and double the level considered affordable for people in the region given local incomes. That last sentence is the most important. When you consider the livelihood of Floridians, you realize that these rents are entirely too high. However, Miami's typical rent takes up a whopping 60% of a household's income. 60%. Florida housing woes have been festering for years, according to CBS News, with the state enjoying robust population growth while also courting new residents and businesses, The point is while the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is putting all of his emphasis on attacking critical race theory and attacking trans youth and attacking the LGBTQIA community, he needs to be focusing on why the rent is too damn high in Florida. The cost of living is going up everywhere. But Florida, you are not getting your money's worth. I don't know anyone. I grew up in Florida. There's no reason that something should be costing 60% of your income in order to live anywhere in the United States of America. But Ron DeSantis has created the perfect environment in the state of Florida because he wants you to focus more on your bigotry than your economics. And this is the thing. We have a couple of stories that really highlight how easy it is for Americans to be distracted by their bigotry and ignore what politicians are doing to them economically. And so in the state of Florida, while the rent is going up for everyone, buying a house is almost unthinkable across this country at this point. But Republicans and conservatives, and some Democrats for that matter, are actively participating in trying to direct your attention to your fear of critical race theory and the LGBTQIA community and whatever isms and bigotry they want that day. Instead, they keep you distracted from focusing on the reality that this system is draining every single one of us of our livelihoods, of our time, our talent, and our treasure. But at least you have your bigotry to keep you comfortable in the state of Florida, according to Ron DeSantis. I also want to move on to a second story here coming out of Amazon. Amazon stocks shares have suddenly dipped. Amazon stocks dive after reportedly nearly a $4 billion loss. CNN is reporting that on April 28th, Amazon reported a net loss of $3.8 billion in the second quarter of 2022. During the same period last year, the company reported an $8.1 billion profit. Keep in mind, this is also a company that pays little or no taxes whatsoever. Analysts the analysts who surveyed it predicted a $4.4 billion profit this year for Amazon, but apparently they were way off. CNN is also reporting that Amazon attributes most of the decrease in the revenue to a $7.6 billion loss sustained from investing in Rivian. CNN also is reporting that Amazon Amazon's shares plunged about 10% after hours trading followed news of the loss. This is also on the tails of Tesla having a significant downturn in their stock prices amid the news of Elon Musk leveraging his wealth in Tesla to purchase Twitter. So we're going to keep our eyes on all of these stories. What would be most interesting is to see if the very vice that these oligarchs are using come back to bite them in the end. It hasn't worked out that way, but we're going to keep our eye on it because particularly the purchase of Twitter, that one has some economic reverberations that if we are paying close attention to, we're going to see that sometimes the arrogance and the overconfidence and the money of these oligarchs are putting them in positions that Elon Musk may regret later. We'll keep our eye on that. I want to go to Terry Crews, and I'm hoping that we'll have absolutely. Let's bring in our first guest to the screen, and we're going to talk about Terry Crews is apologizing. Pastor Anthony Galloway is with us. This is probably not the best place to bring you in right away, Pastor, but before we go to Terry Crews, because this clip is amazing. He's apologizing for his tweets about Black Lives Matter, and we'll get to all that in a minute. But good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. And thanks for giving us that rundown earlier this morning. I think it's a very important thing to watch and to be able to start to look at that. There is a connection historically, and I'll bring that up in a little bit later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Please. I always love the historical connections. Let's go to Terry Crews. I have a clip of Terry Crews addressing his tweets that he sent during the George Floyd protest, which was read as being an attack on Black Lives Matter. Now he is out promoting a book, and he was asked about those tweets, and this is what he had to say.
Terry Crews has apologized to anyone he hurt or offended by his controversial Black Lives Matter tweet. This is back in the summer of 2020.
So Terry faced backlash for sharing several tweets in the midst of the nationwide protests following the murder of George Floyd. One tweet read, "If you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have a family of every race, creed, and ideology. We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better."
Yeah, now nearly 2 years later, Terry addressed the controversy while talking to Trevor Noah on The Daily Show. Here's what he had to say.
My thing is, I just wanted peace. And I guess it goes back to my approval. Yes. It goes back to my need for approval. It went back to that. Again, it was a mistake. It was a mistake to tweet that out at that time. And I'll be honest, I really do want to apologize to anybody who was offended by these tweets and was hurt deeply. Because as an example, as an African-American man, a black man here in this country, I did not want to give the perception that we're supposed to gloss this over and forget the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd. Right. And I want to apologize to everyone right now who was ever offended, because it hurt. And even back, I was trying to explain, it just got worse and worse. And this is where the book came in, because the need is for us as a people to actually come together and really, really be what we need to be to this country, because it's our country. This is our country. Right. We died and fought, and I'm not giving it away. This is our inheritance.
Pastor Galloway, you know I like to ask leading questions, and I like to sandbag the conversation and set it up real good, especially when I have strong opinions about people like Terry Crews, but I'm going to yield. What are your thoughts about this brother coming out with this statement 2 years later?
I'm completely indifferent to the response. And it's largely because it's just that we require an exact amorphed reality that even says that there needs to be a response to that. I want to focus on, so I always focus on what was said in the beginning, right? And what sets up a condition for what was stated. Because we can walk it back, however, and I'm obligated, both in my personal belief and viewpoints and my spiritual requirements, to forgive, move forward, and do that. So whatever was happened, what was said was what was said, right? Right. But I want to focus in on what was said there. Black Lives Better. Like, if we were having a conversation about the impact of that, then I'm in here all day. This isn't that. This is about what we do with this brother going forward and all that kind of stuff. And hey, love you. Let's keep moving, whatever. But if we want to address what you said, right? I love there's a clip, and I forget the artist's name. He's a hip hop artist. He has a wonderful video out about how to tell somebody that they're racist. And he talks about the fact that he uses a metaphor. I'm not concerned about what you said. I'm concerned about what you did, right? I'm not going to be talking about how you, I don't want to sit here and pontificate about why or what your intentions were stealing and picking my wallet. I'm here to get my wallet back. So, so when we talk about if we don't become Black Lives Better, what is that? in response to? Right? Those are the questions that I'm wondering. Was that a response to feeling like you should be doing more and weren't, and therefore, as people called you out for not speaking up, you want to, you felt like somebody was saying you're not black enough? Is it because we're feeding into this notion that somehow standing up for our identity, our rights, the things that we should have, the things that are not yet addressed on our behalf after, as he said, acknowledging the fact that we've built this country, we fought and died and bled and have done all the things that should require us to have full rights and privileges in this country, but don't in practice, right? If we're feeding into that as somehow meaning that we're trying to say that Black lives are better, right? Which is not our argument, right? It's not something that folks who are on the ground in the front lines of all of these fights are saying. That comes completely from propaganda from folks who are made uncomfortable by Black excellence because they feel like they're losing something, right? Which again, in the historical sense, and this ties all the way back to your first two pieces, right? We have a growing wealth inequity, the same growing health inequity that led to Bacon's Rebellion, where poor whites across the country and Black folks and all these folks tried to overthrow a ruling class of oligarchs, really, in the United States, right? We are seeing the same. We saw the same propaganda in the Civil War that created a condition where poor whites in the South resisted slavery or resisted ending slavery, right? Which is hurting and depressing their own outcomes again, right? Because we bring in the culture war space to make you focus on that. This to me is reminiscent of that same pattern. It feeds into this assumption that somehow fighting for Black lives is a new form of supremacy, because a white supremacy mindset only understands a threat to it as trying to replace it, because it's the only system we've ever known. So if we get rid of white supremacy, another supremacy must take its place, because that's all I understand, right? And so then I assume that something like Black Lives Matter, that's just fighting for equity and equality, is akin to the only thing I've ever known, because something has to replace this, because supremacy mindset is rooted. So that's, if we're having a conversation about that in response to his tweet, then I'm in here for the conversation. All the other stuff, hey, do your thing, write your book. All right, cool. I'm gonna go fishing.
You sound like my dad. When he got tired of all the deacons and trustees at the church arguing and fighting, he said, I'm going to go get some ice cream. Y'all have this. And he left and went to get some ice cream. We can leave this conversation as well, except for the nuance that I love that you put, right? This is why I always enjoy our conversation. There's a tendency, and actually, Dwayne, I want to juxtapose this with a clip from, or rather some notes from the Like It or Not segment. And it's the story where the governor of, I believe, Oklahoma, the governor of Oklahoma is signing a ban on anyone being able to change their gender status on their birth certificates after they've transitioned. And I'll juxtapose. You'll see the connection in a minute. You might already see it, Professor Galloway. There's a trend. There's a tendency, rather, or actually, let me ask this question. What is this tendency in human nature to be able to fall headlong into bigotry or something that some kind of wedge issue that irritates us and it draws us in? Meanwhile, we're ignoring the fact that aligning with these people really in a lot of ways is aligning with white supremacy. And I think this is what Terry Crews, I don't know, whatever his calculus was. I love the way you broke it down. He probably was responding to somebody on his tail, right? But he ended up wading into the national conversation in the same way. He fell into whatever that thing is that is going on in his mind. And now he's trying to undo it to say, because he doesn't want to have that alliance with white supremacy. I mean, he called it out for what it was 2 years later. Why do humans have this predisposition to fall for the okie doke, especially when it's something that is a wedge issue, something that irritates that individual and basically boils down to some bigotry?
Well, this actually is apropos. I'm preaching about this on Sunday, actually. So yet again, you walking right down into my sermons, Ben. But
look at God.
But one of the things that we have conditioned ourselves to be led by is that, right? If you think about what happened when if you think about what happened in the founding of Tulsa, let's just use that example, right? You have folks coming together to say, here's a condition that is true for us in the United States. Given all of that, we're going to pool our resource to our collectivist mentality, and we start building out a city. We start building out a community. In fact, I can go to the Rondo neighborhood, which is like many neighborhoods across the country, but here in Minnesota, where given the oppressive condition of the society as a whole, what do? We turn inward. We start building in a community where you can actually work as a doctor with your advanced degree instead of a Pullman porter at the Union Depot. There's a place where I can actually mass wealth. I can actually do that and turn inward and build that collective space. Right. That has been the pattern over the years. We have morphed out of that space and into one that starts to be moved by the wedge issue, because we have gotten so adept at interrupting the collective mindsets that build power, that build solidarity, that build coalition. And so now even down to our political strategy tries to figure out what's going to motivate the voter the most. And I want to flip that, because what we've actually moved into is something that will motivate the easiest. The wedge issues, getting somebody irritated, is one of the easiest moves, right? It's akin to jumping from flash fire to flash fire, as opposed to building that long lasting fire that has the coals and embers to really build something, right? And so these are some of the things that come to mind when we think about this as a motivation. We have actually reverted to what is the easiest way to move folks, rather than the most powerful and most long lasting. Because one of the other things that we'll find in this is that one wedge issue today quickly changes. It changes with the ebb and flow of the zeitgeist. It's not something that lasts long, right? So I know that's kind of a nuanced thing, right? And getting to some of that philosophy, but that is part of what I'm seeing here, and that is what's been problematic. I can get you mad, I can get you irritated, I can motivate you quickly now, particularly quickly during this election season, right? But what's going to motivate you to make something longer term? Those longer term thought processes are what got us HBCUs, what got us some of these cities that were so threatened to the status quo as it was, that it pulled the backlash and ire of white citizens to attack these black towns all across the country, and as in Tulsa, firebomb for the first time in history by its own citizens. So that's the thing that I'm pulling apart at the moment.
Man, I was not mistaken when I referred to you as Professor Galloway. I will, because you're a pastor, I will refer to you as pastor, but thank you for that nuance, because I hadn't thought about that. The flash fires versus the long burning embers of organizing and mobilizing collective action, which is by far the way for humanity to survive. We're run by a political cabal that's really good at just making us mad enough to get to the next election. And my question then to you after that would be about this governor in Oklahoma. According to the AP News, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed a bill on Tuesday explicitly prohibiting the use of non-binary gender markers on state birth certificates, a ban experts say is the first of its kind in the nation. The bill followed a flap last year over the Oklahoma State Department of Health's agreement in a civil case allowing a non-binary option. In other words, instead of someone identifying as a girl or a boy, they put a non-binary option. The option itself has now been taken away, signed out of law by the Oklahoma governor. Here's the other thing I want to bring this up. I found out about this article on Baller Alert. And as I was reading through the comments section, I was like, well, damn, black folks, if it's this easy, and this is just my opinion, I don't know your stance on this, but for me, it just seems so many people siding with this subtle and not so subtle form of transphobia and not realizing that they are literally aligning, from my perspective, with white supremacy. I don't know if you see it the same way, but I feel like black folks, we're vulnerable to the same thing.
So one of the things that's problematic here, and I had this conversation with some of my family members who were born at a time when on your birth certificate, the thing that it says for you in a racialized column is Negro.
It says that on my birth certificate from 1980. I have Negro on my birth certificate.
So I'm going to take a breath on that because I'm doing some somatic body work practice, and I'm feeling the tension rise in the small of my back and then my chest. So Dr. Resmaa Menchin in his book, Grandma's Hands, go cozy up with that, because what you're describing right now is this, it is part of this whole body process, so not just mentally, but physically. So I just want to point that out there and give that shout out to Brother Resmaa. But the proxy, this is one of the things that these patterns do, is they have a proxy to them. So I do this fight here, but it also then starts to open the door for other things, right? Do I get to go back and reclassify that birth certificate if I've said that is not how we refer to ourselves? That's not how we mark ourselves. How can I go and fix that going forward, right? So this may be an issue where the public is split on that, even in our own community, right? Because there's a whole lot of folks in Black community spaces who would absolutely
I get it every day,
right?
I get it every day. Yes.
So that is a fight. That is a conversation. That is a thing that we gonna grow through, right? However, when we start to marry that fight into these political things, we get into challenges. I want us to remember that we've got very similar fights like this, especially as it pertains to classification. If you were Arab American prior to 1972, you were considered Black. Then simultaneously to a conversation about the racial identity of Christ in many different places around the world, i.e. here we go, culture war stuff, you get a reclassification to white. And then, of course, as we get into the Gulf challenges and tensions that are rising in the 80s, you see another reclassification racially for Arab Americans, right? So these are some of the proxy fights that start to blend in and bleed in a cultural stance, a cultural wedge issue, not brought by the very folks who are receiving the negative outcomes in our society, that are starting to put things in there, right? And so the question I come back to is, what impact does it have on you for somebody to have the ability to align their birth certificate with who they are? What is the impact on the greater society? Let's have that conversation in that case. And I would warrant you, the reason that we don't go there is because there's not enough fuel for that flash fire.
Man, I know you're a man of God, but damn it, that was a hell of. But let's go to break. Can you stand another 30 minutes? Because, man, you are breaking this down in ways that I am so appreciative of this morning. Pastor Anthony Galloway of St. Mark AME in Duluth. I almost said Georgia, but Duluth, Minnesota. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be on the clock. More of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show is coming up. More of this dope brother, man. Thank you so much for this analysis this morning. We'll be back right after this.
Good morning, people. Y'all know who it is. You know the voice. You know the sound. James Bubba Williams, ever. They call him TT. All right, y'all. Make sure that you stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next. It's about to go down here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Stay tuned, y'all. Good morning, everybody.
Don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right. Don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just
Marvin Jones, good morning to you. Alicia, good morning.
Let me find out. You've been going around throwing.
And yeah, we were not taking calls in that last segment. Y'all was trying to blow the phone lines up. I'm like, calm down. This not yet. We got a guest. Calm down. We'll see. We may be taking calls next segment, but we'll see how that goes. We got a lot of stories to get through, so make sure y'all stay tuned. And Mother, good morning to you. I spoke already, but you were working. I don't like this working stuff,
You've been saying about me, true. Tell them I need my money right now.
LeBron, good morning to you. Carly, good morning. Wynn Singerful, good morning to you as well. Tracy Jones, good morning.
I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see. But now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't ever lied. I had to leave.
Katrina, good morning to you. I know I see Kareem in there as well, too. Good morning, Kareem. B, good morning, B. Teresa, good morning to you.
I'm on a mission, trying to block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true. Tell him I need my money.
G-Man, good morning.
Brought me the juice, they stole out my crown. Sorry to tell you,
my crown.
I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my.
Hey, so I recently joined a nudist colony. The first few days were the hardest.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah, clothes the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you.
Freddie, good morning to you. Sarah AP, good morning. Ken BX, good morning. Industrial Arts, is this a replay? Does this look like a replay? Industrial Arts, what's going on, sir?
Say it with your chest now. I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now.
Hollywood, what's going on, Hollywood? Hollywood swinging. Promises manifested, good morning.
I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me.
Matt Letterhack is in the building. What's going on, Matt? Good morning to you.
It's my time to
T Tweety 01, what's going on?
Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm still fly, I know.
Big Peace, good morning to you.
Fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Clothes to make the man, but that boy doesn't.
Reagan, good morning.
From the inside out, it's time to say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody.
So I bought a dog off a blacksmith yesterday, and as soon as I got home, it made a bolt for the door. Man, I don't get it.
I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take.
They are flowing today, I swear there is.
It's my time to run it out. It's my time to run it out. It's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say yeah. Yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah. Yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah.
Reagan, did you say more? Okay, cool. What do you call a zombie who writes music? A decomposer.
I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
Mara Sharice, good morning.
It's my time to run it out.
True, good morning to you, True.
I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
Unfortunately, my obese period just died. But it's a huge weight off my shoulders. Going to hell. Y'all stay tuned, like it or not. It's coming up next, y'all. You don't want to miss it.
Sticks and stones.
Brenda Johnson, good morning.
But your words can't hurt me.
Alicia, there you go throwing tomatoes at me. I love you too.
I ain't been right.
That's right, y'all. Y'all blame Cragen for that. He wanted more, and I gave him more.
No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. I know it's hard to be polite, and it's easy being petty. My mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you ready. Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave. That's what everybody tell me. Man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through and knocking pictures off you all. Cause loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek.
Why did the musician's wife file for a divorce?
Break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me.
She was sick of the domestic violence.
Right. More than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No,
that is terrible. Angela, ain't a good morning till you tell her I can do that, I think.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me.
My dad said, son, stay out of strip clubs or you might see something you shouldn't. And he was right. I went in and I saw him.
Got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining.
Yeah.
They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate. Stop all the hate right now.
Carmen, I know Carmen killing me too.
Yeah. So be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong.
Okay, last one. Okay, I promise. Okay. I once got free cake from a haunted Freaks bakery. That place gave me the creeps.
But your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No.
Shout out to T for the super chat. Big shouts to Mr. Matt Strackmine being aka Letterhack. So you love, Lion. So you love.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. We would light it up, but the time is 9:06, and we got to get this out the way.
Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, your tea, drink whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change game like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like It or Not with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around.
Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a
Strew the Dragon. Okay, Strew said, joke. What do you call a singing laptop? Adele. God damn it, Strew. That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh, that was a damn good one.
Stay dropping them jams.
Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not, it's starting now.
Mama, go to work.
Like it or not,
it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
I forgot the best.
I missed it. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. And he literally said the mics were open and I went on a diatribe. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
I care who doesn't like it.
It is Wednesday, what the month is this? April 27th, 2022.
Damn.
Yeah, man. No, I'm trying to skip ahead a couple of months. Anyway, James, how's it going with you this morning? I know we're waiting on the Queen to get here, but we are at her disposal when she arrives.
The Queen is always late. It's like by the time she get here, it's gonna be the end of the show. But I digress.
And then she'll be ready to go over stories that we already went over.
We can already cover.
Oh man, any person. I understand my wife now, because anyone who spends more than like 2 hours with me, I realize every single morning you guys spend about 2 hours with me, and you see how, James, how I go from this serious, it's the end of the world, all the way to like, we will literally laugh about anything. It doesn't matter how juvenile, it doesn't matter how gutter bucket, like it's the full range of emotions that you get with me any given morning.
Ben will go from UFOs in the sky and Area 51 to he ain't got no goddamn sense.
To talking about voting rights, right?
Talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, or Chris Rock slapping, you know what I'm talking about, see?
Or the baby,
Or the baby.
Gunning down people in Walmart.
And Megan Thee Stallion getting a pinky toe shot off. Goddamn.
It shot me in my pinky toe.
Shot me in my pinky toe.
But you know what? All jokes aside, no, I will set that joke aside because I don't want to make light of what happened to Megan Thee Stallion. Even though you set that up perfectly for Harlem Nights, I don't want to make light because, one, Megan is a human being, and then two, Megan is the baddest
humble human
rapper
being
in the
at
game
that.
right now.
Right. And she's
to
done so
her.
much good and everything, especially graduating from Texas Southern University. So that's a real queen. She's done rapping, doing everything that she's done, graduated college. So y'all can't say nothing bad about Megan.
I've never actually felt bad about my height in my life, James, ever. I never really cared that I was 5'7". Until I realized Megan was 5'10" without the stilettos on. So I'm like, man, what? I wish I was a little bit taller. But shout out to her. Let's get to some news before I get canceled this morning. It's always a race to see who's going to get canceled first on this show. How edgy will we actually allow ourselves, or will we try to play by the rules? Let's actually go. David, I'm going to hold that story for a little bit later, because that's not the kind of place I want to land that sentence. I want to talk about Harvard. Dr. Spalding on the last segment mentioned that Harvard was actually going to take some accountability, and I'd say that with quotations around it, for their ties to slavery. Harvard is committing $100 million to address its ties to slavery. The announcement follows an extensive report that articulates how Harvard was patronized by men who were made wealthy through slavery. According to the Creation Committee's report, the Legacy of Slavery Fund is a, quote, necessary predicate to and a foundation for redress. The fund stops short, this is the part, the fund starts short of calling for monetary reparations to the descendants of those who lived life as an enslaved person. This is a quote, the fund will perpetuate research, create more opportunities for people of color, and seek to memorialize those who were enslaved and honor their memories by creating connections to their descendants, said Dr. Stephen Beckett, Harvard historian, via the New York Times. So they're going to study, they're going to commemorate, but they're not going to run them their money, James. What are your thoughts?
Who determines how much is enough? Who determines that? Like $100 million. Did y'all just come up with that? Well, let's give them $100 million. That'll make them happy. I think it probably should be a little bit more than that. Just give us the university. We cool. Make it HBCU. Harvard HBCU. How you think?
Harvard HBCU. I like that idea. Matter of fact, since you're not going to give reparations, which I don't understand, because if you're going to commit $100 million, do you know what $100 million would do for the descendants of slavery, for that group, for that descendants of enslaved people, rather? And actually, I like to say more precisely, the descendants of survivors of slavery, because our ancestors were survivors of that shit. But I digress. That money specifically targeting the descendants of the white men who got rich at Harvard off of their slaves. Like, we're not talking about all of African Americans, of all the descendants. We're talking about those specific people who are tied to Harvard. They have receipts. James, let's just, before I even finish that thought, I want to make sure this is not a mystery. We know exactly the men they're talking about. Look at the founding fathers. How many of them went to Harvard or connected to Harvard and owned slaves? So we know exactly the men. And we know the slaves that they owned, and finding their descendants would not be difficult. 100 million for that small group of people would change their lives and change the course. But instead of giving the money to the people, they're going to have services and commemorations. Okay, cool. Nice. Then the least you can do is make sure every black person goes for free. Go ahead.
What are they researching? What research?
How bad they were? What research? Yeah.
What research?
I don't know.
We already know everything. What are we researching?
I don't know. So what that translates into is that some probably white historian is going to get funding to research slavery at Harvard. I mean, yeah, I know people are like, oh, you can't satisfy these guys. Can't give them nothing. You can't just give us anything and expect us to be excited about it. That's the difference.
Right.
Here's a story that I definitely want to get Rebecca to chime in on, and we'll circle back when she gets here. There's a new study, a new survey that finds employees would rather seek different employment than go back to the office during the midst of this pandemic. Al Jazeera is reporting a new survey from payroll services company ADP, finding employees everywhere are demanding more security and flexibility. This has been intensified by COVID-19 and tight labor markets. Employees are holding fast to their demands as employers are trying to bring them back to the office. Surveying nearly 33,000 people worldwide, ADP found almost 2/3 of them would look for a new job if they felt forced to return to the standards on a variety of fronts, or rather return to the office. The pandemic has sparked a rethink of priorities. This is good. This is the best part about this, man. A rethink of priorities, and workers are signaling a willingness to walk away if employers don't meet their standards on a variety of fronts. Shout out to workers everywhere who are refusing to put up with this crap from their employers.
Yeah, and it's real because here it is. You were telling us that our jobs, we can't do our jobs from home, but here it is. During the pandemic, we whole ass set up our home life and brought work life into it. So it can be done. After y'all telling us that it can't be done, it can be done. And now, because they're throwing out this narrative that everything is back open and it's safe, you want me back in the office. And my ass will quit in a heartbeat if you make me try to come back in office. As many people that are out here hiring people and doing everything, I can find another job with no problem. But you're not going to force me to come back in a place where I could potentially still get sick. The pandemic is still here, people. It's not
a whole ass pandemic.
Okay, so I'm not rushing to get back into the office. My boss and I had that conversation. When are we going to see you? Probably not going to see me. Special occasions. You know what? I give you special occasions. If we have a client visit, I'll show face.
February.
One day.
February
32nd.
You'll see me then.
Okay.
It's a method of control. Going into the office is a method of control. In fact, we all do know working from home is far more efficient. I don't know if anyone's done a statistical study of it, but anyone who's done it knows that you spend far less time wasting time at the water cooler, talking with your neighbors, or your neighbors talking to you. I never forget, Rebecca better hurry up and get here, because Rebecca used to be in the office singing all the time, James. I'm trying to prepare my stories for the day, and she's back there like Pamela James from Martin. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Really? So you don't have to deal with stuff like that when you work from home. You get more done. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You know what it is, Ben? This is what it is. You remember, I don't know if you saw that image. The guy posted that picture of, this is my office for the next 8 hours, and he's in the tub with the laptop sitting across the thing. I think that's what's prompted all these people to think, oh, y'all need to come back in office. It don't matter what the hell I'm doing. I could be sitting here butt-ass naked. As long as I'm working and answering the phone and doing what I need to do, I'm making you money. How I'm making you money should not matter. If I'm sitting here and long as I'm working, that's all you care about. You see me logged in, you see emails going back and forth. It don't matter if I'm in a tub, if I'm outside, if I'm wherever the hell I am. As long as you make your money is getting made, that's all that matters. Don't try to comfort me because you can't do the same thing.
Well, see, that's the thing. They actually can. Man, listen, I've worked every kind of job, man. I've been a teacher. I've thrown trash. I've cut grass, and I've worked with a tech company. I went public with a tech company. It was a fun ride. Can I tell you, their starting place is work from home. And their starting place is actually, it's take as many vacation days as you want, so long as you get your work done. Nobody checked over our shoulders. Nobody made us punch a clock. I mean, everything was literally, as long as I got my task done, I was able to go on vacation as much as I wanted to. And it just shows you that there's two different class of workers here, man. Like, we're all workers, we're all laborers, but there's those who have the ability and the flexibility to live their life as they see fit, and they're treated accordingly. The rest of us, because I've worked in both worlds, the rest of us are forced and herded into these warehouses where they exert control over us, and we have to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
Like we get.
So anyway, people said they're not going back to that yet no more. They done with that. They are not going back to y'all warehouses. A couple other stories here that I want to go over before we take a break. I want to go back to Georgia Fort's coverage in Minnesota. There was a Minneapolis protest in honor, or rather standing with Palestine. Minneapolis shows solidarity with Palestinians in an emergency protest amidst Israeli raids on the Al-Aqsa Mosque and attacks towards Palestinian worshipers during the holy month of Ramadan. Now, we haven't been doing much coverage of this, but this was a flashpoint in Minnesota, Minneapolis specifically, and Georgia Fort got coverage. Let's take a look at it.
Before attacking the worshippers in Aqsa, Israel killed 17 Palestinians just during Ramadan. 17 Palestinians were killed by Israel. At one point, they killed 6 Palestinians within a span of 48 hours.
So we're out here protesting against Israeli aggression against Al-Aqsa Mosque, which was desecrated and continues to be desecrated by Israeli forces during the holy month of Ramadan.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Palestine will never die.
I don't think Palestinians should have extra rights. I'm not asking for those. I just want them to be treated like human beings. So imagine a mosque being invaded and attacked by hundreds of armed thugs. Now imagine that happening to a church. Imagine that happening to the Vatican. Imagine that happening at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. And what would your reaction be? We just want that same reaction.
One of the things that we saw with Ukraine is that people can care about issues that are not in the U.S. They can care about issues that are overseas that don't directly impact them. And so we're saying, hey, if you can care about the Ukraine, then you can care about Palestine. And especially, again, considering the fact that the U.S. plays a pivotal role in Israeli occupation with the funding of $3.8 billion annually.
No more violence, no more crimes. No more violence, no more crimes. Israel out of Palestine. Israel out of Palestine.
Israel is in a losing battle. Wallahi, I'm not just saying this. I'm not bluffing. All right? We have Palestinians resisting against one of the most powerful armies in the world with rocks, and they were able to drive out Israeli soldiers from Al-Aqsa. Israel is in a losing battle in the public image, and so they are desperate, and they're doing everything that they can to stifle Palestinian resilience.
Shout out to Georgia Fort for being there and getting that footage and that coverage there in Minneapolis of an emergency protest standing in solidarity with the people of Palestine. James, I don't know if you remember that episode that we covered. It was about a year ago, and we're speaking with the sister there from Palestine, and forgive me, her name escapes me, but a bomb went off in the middle of that interview.
Oh, right, man.
That was, if I'm not mistaken, and David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that was tied to the attacks on the same mosque over a year ago.
Same mosque.
So the same mosque, yes. Okay.
Wow.
So we'll be keeping, and so you know, go ahead, David.
Al-Aqsa Mosque it's like a focal point. It's one of their most significant places of worship, and because it's, I believe, I don't know the map by heart, but I believe it's in the center or right in the heart of Jerusalem, and so this is not a coincidence that they're doing this on Ramadan, during Holy Holiday.
And I love, I when that brother in the video said, "I'm not asking for extra rights or special treatment," he said, "Can you imagine this happening at a church?" No, I can't. To be quite honest with you, I simply cannot. Can you imagine this happening at the Vatican? No way in the world this happens at the Vatican. But had it happened at any of these places, what would be our reaction? And I think the just thing is to have the similar reaction to this in that same way. So shout out to Georgia for getting that coverage and sharing it with us. Vice President Kamala Harris tested positive for COVID-19. On April 26th, the vice president's office announced that Harris had tested positive for COVID-19. According to her press secretary, Harris will isolate and continue to work from the vice president's residence. The press secretary, Kirsten Allen, said due to their respective recent travel schedules, Harris hasn't been in close contact with the president or the first lady. CNBC is reporting that the vice president is the highest-ranking Biden administration official to have contracted COVID. The president, despite coming into contact with those who later tested positive, has not yet caught COVID. Both the president and vice president are vaccinated and boosted. So we are still in a pandemic, man. Still in a pandemic. Shifting gears really quickly to one more story.
Hold on, before you get there, it was a pregnant pause for a reason, Benjamin.
Oh no,
because
oh boy,
how Kamala got COVID? She don't never go nowhere. But you know, I digress. On to the next story. You in the house? Ain't never. You know what? Never mind. I love you, Kamala. But how? House is VP. I don't. Okay, let's go.
I didn't say it, but I'll stand by my man who did. I got your back. I got your six. Joe Manchin. This clip right here, I really wanted Rebecca to be in, but we'll bring it back when she gets here. Joe Manchin says he's concerned about voting rights in this country. Okay, I'm not going to go on a soliloquy describing him. Let's just play this clip of Joe Manchin saying the country has a lot of work to do to ensure voting rights access, and says that he is particularly concerned about it. Let's take a listen in.
Sir, on voting rights, I've always believed that healthy democracy depends on a voting system that is accessible, free, fair, and secure. While history is going to tell us that we've come a long way in ensuring all individuals, regardless of their race, sex, or political affiliation, have the ability to cast their vote, we can all agree that we still have a lot of work to do. I'm particularly concerned about the recent opinions and rulings that seem to undercut decades of established legal precedent under the Voting Rights Act.
You know what's particularly disgusting about this clip is that Joe Manchin is the individual, the key star of the filibuster standing in the way of voting rights being protected, specifically protected. So it is the situation where the villain, the blood-drenched villain in the movie, is standing in the temple saying, "I'm so sorry, we have to make sure that we protect everyone from the violence that villain created." Well, in this story, Joe Manchin is the villain. He is the one, along with his bestie, Kirsten Sinema. They are the ones who are standing in the way of voting rights being protected, and yet he has the nerve, the unmitigated gall, the caucasity to stand there and say that it's the top of his concern, James.
A Republican in Democrats' clothing.
Yep. Might have a couple of sheets in his clothing basket. Anyway, I digress. Moving on.
Benjamin said it. I didn't, but I stick beside my man.
I'll go. That's a hill I'll die on that one, James. You take the Cobbler Hill. I'll take the Joe Manchin Hill, man.
All day.
I know somewhere in that man's family lineage is a Klan robe or two. The way he's carrying on, you can't tell me that somebody in his family ain't been at a lynching and then go to Sunday school. Come on. Joe Manchin, worried about voting rights, my ass.
His family members in that scene in Django Unchained. You know what scene I'm talking about? They out on the hill the first time they put the mask on. Oh yeah, this people's one of them. He's one of them. He's just looking down the hill.
Speaking of other ones of them, because you said he's a Republican in Democrats' clothing, let's talk about his colleague, Representative Cawthorn, Madison Cawthorn, who yesterday was dressed in you said the negligee just wasn't fitting right, correct? That was the problem. It wasn't that he was wearing a negligee, it's that he just wasn't wearing it right. Well, now he's gone thug life now, and Madison Cawthorn got caught with a gun at the airport. From North Carolina. He was cited for having a gun at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. This is the second time Cawthorn has been discovered with a gun at an airport, and he could face fines up to $13,000. It was loaded.
Wait, hold on. He had the gun at the airport, trying to board the plane, loaded, and all he could face is fines up to $13,000?
You said it right, Dwayne. Yeah. So, now, anybody else would have been put on that no-fly list. So.
No-fly list would have been sitting under the jail.
Right.
Second time.
Yep.
Man,
exactly. Second time offense. And so I don't know if he's trying to juxtapose the negligee life with thug life. Doesn't matter. All I'm saying is, how do you get away with this? Twice. And only $13,000? The math ain't.
I honestly think he's trying to run for office off of this type of stuff. I think that it's a calculated move and decision. And the privilege that assuming that he's not going to get arrested, that's just another.
It's got to be.
That's a whole nother level.
Got to be political privilege on that, because I don't think it's white privilege, because I don't think this. You get random Jimmy Crack Corn from Bethesda, Georgia, come up with a loaded gun. His ass is going to jail. He'll make it to jail alive. I'd be dead. You'd be dead. All black folks be dead. But everybody else is going to be arrested. Remember the guy in the Atlanta airport who mistakenly had a gun, and that gun mistakenly fell out and went off. They tracked that man down, and that man is going to serve some time. Obviously, because that's the system that we have. It's set up that way, but not for politicians, apparently.
Yes,
we have a visitor.
Well, that said, we have now coming to the stage.
Why you say it like that, Ben?
Put your hands together.
Ben?
Hold on.
No. Put your hands together and show your love. I was about to do the Steve Harvey thing.
Before we do that, there was a clip to go with that Cawthorn story. Let's
watch that clip real quick.
Oh yeah, okay.
3 sources tell our team that U.S. Representative Madison Cawthorn was cited for having a gun at Charlotte Douglas Airport this morning. Now, according to the TSA, a 9mm handgun was discovered at checkpoint D. The TSA declined to identify the person, but sources say 3 of them, that it was Cawthorn. It's unclear if he'll face any criminal charges for this. A spokesperson for CMPD would not immediately comment. This is not the first time that a gun has been discovered on Cawthorn at an airport, though. We know in February of 2021, TSA found a handgun on Cawthorn's carry-on bag at Asheville Regional Airport. Cawthorn did not face any criminal charges for that incident.
No
charges.
No charges. The rest of us.
Them hoops is big. They about to weigh your head down, girl. Do you hear me? I love it, though.
The queen has returned.
Not as big as my head is. It's a very balanced situation.
Rebecca, your head is not that big, Rebecca. Your head.
Now, I will say, I think I say this all the time on the show. Like, I have a lot of hair, so it gives when I was bald, because I had shaved my head off before in my life, and I realized I ain't got no head in the bag. Ain't no head in the bag. All this time I thought I did, but honey, I ain't got no head in the bag. Nothing.
He's just like the flathead.
You late.
Yeah,
laid on your
that's
butt
where
too
it's
much
at
as
for
a
me.
baby.
Right, Dwayne. I think that's what it was.
They
That's
were
what
popping in the back of the head.
Because my head is actually, if I cut my beard off, y'all, my face is really round. Like my head is like really round like a globe. And it takes me to cut my beard off for everybody to see it. That's why I don't say this thing down there. So y'all will never see that.
Round, I love a good round face. You see, I mean, I love my face. I have like a long face, long head. Right. So when I do like my ponytails and stuff, it's just really long. Like, you know, like the Kelly Rowlands of the world, like those people. It's just long face, right? But I think, you know, everybody has a nice shape. Ben has like a he's a round head too.
Glober. I'm a glober. Flat.
Yeah. Oh, the head? I'm talking about the face. Now Ben's head.
Oh, I'm what's the official name of the alien of the
Wop
head? No, the scary aliens from the movie, the anthropomorph or whatever. That's the kind of head I got. Yeah.
You got the alien. Turn to the side, Ben. Look. Oh, okay.
No, man. No, Ben got a hit on him. Yeah, we all got.
Hey, look here, Bambi. Now wait a minute. I wasn't gonna tell you.
That's what I was thinking of. They called me Bambi in college. So they called me Bambi in college because we all went. I think we talked about this on the show. We all went.
Xenomorph. Thank you, Tigers.
Xenomorph.
Yeah. I'm definitely. I'm in the Eeyore, any horse-like animal. That's what I got.
I used to call her Inspector Gadget.
Like Meg the Stallion.
Oh yeah.
I hate when they do that to her. Every time she laughs, they make the horse noise. But my friends did that to me in middle school. If I would start talking, they'd be like, they would do that to me. No, it's not that funny, Blaine. And then I was really tall and skinny, and then I had no body, but I used to look like I was walking forward, so it always looked like I was galloping.
What Mike Epps say? Bevo Lottie got more head than you got body.
That's what I was. That's what it was for me back then.
Oh, merciful Jesus!
And you learn to just grow into all of those features, and then everybody be on you. So I got no problems in my lifetime. But
man, I love Rebecca come in and just literally. It don't even matter what we talking about. She just takes it to 12. Rebecca, I love it. Oh my God.
But I hope that you guys have been having a great Wednesday. And
we've been holding it down
Cawthorn?
For you.
Cawthorn.
Who was that?
Cawthorn is the guy we just covered him yesterday. He was the one with the who had the picture of him in the negligee, which was fine, whatever. It's just like James said, it was improperly fitted. It just was a bad fit.
It wasn't.
I haven't seen. I don't know who. I haven't heard this story.
He's a Republican congressperson from South Carolina, or is it North Carolina, David?
North Carolina.
This was him on Monday. Right, no problem. I mean, cool. Like he's having the time of his life.
Well, it's not actually Monday. It was like before.
Right. Well,
Congress, but it came out over the weekend.
Figuratively speaking, this was him on Monday, and then go to what's next on Tuesday. On the next day, he was coming out thug life. Got caught with a gun at the North Carolina Charlotte airport. But all he's going to face is fines up to $13,000. No criminal charges as of yet.
He was at the. He probably was at the. He's at the Capitol on January 6th.
He is definitely
9 times out of 10.
Is he a January 6th-er?
He is a 6th.
Yes, he goes along with Marjorie Taylor Greene and
that's
the whole crazy Q crew.
Okay, so he I just want to know his importance because he looked familiar. He almost looks like one of the people also who was, trying to not have Ketanji Brown.
No,
he looks like those people, but look, because they gotta look. They gotta look.
They do have a look.
There's features on those people. January 6th is that same day. They were sitting in front of Ketanji trying to call her all kinds of disrespectful names. Had her up looking. They gotta look. Okay. Anyway.
Very much Doug funny.
Right. Well, I like Doug funny, but they gotta look. They gotta look. Anyways, I just said that to say I don't know that man, but just looking at him, and I hate to say we could judge a book by its cover, but anything y'all tell me about that man, I'm gonna believe.
You gonna believe it?
I'm gonna believe it. I was gonna believe it.
I was gonna try to go down a couple lists of things that we could say about him, but I don't think we can make up anything that's worse than what he really is. So We
trash.
digress. We'll
So, I mean, if he's a cross-dresser, that's not a problem. Like you said, Bubba, it just wasn't given. His outfit just wasn't given. I don't know if he was doing that to be.
James, you know I've got to
mock
research
people.
it. You know I'm gonna have to research it now because you dropped it a couple times.
Ben, just look up the definition. Don't look up pictures. Just look up definition.
Okay, just definition. Okay, all right.
Definition of what?
So
he's dropping Easter eggs in the show.
Is that
I think
I don't know
yeah,
that
I
term.
think I think it's not for. I think it's for.
It's not for the straights. Okay.
Anywho, his cross.
There you go. I didn't know how to say it. There you
If he's a cross-dresser, that's not the issue. But I know that people that majority of the people that are that are conservative thinkers or are January 6ers, they are not about anything LGBTQIA plus. So I'm not sure if
at all
it's like that for mockery or for whatever the case.
That's a good
some of them
question.
times they do that. They go out. They be doing. I don't know what the reason was, but to juxtapose that with the. I guess what he was caught with. He's probably pro guns. I'm pretty sure he's pro. He's probably all of that. So it all falls in line for that. So
all that was a campaign ad. That's all that was.
Y'all think they caught him with the gun in his stockings like he was one of them Wild West floozies?
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
And the little garter belt came Dwayne.
You got to make sure see when you say stuff like that, you got to put your and it don't even matter. He's a bald black man, so they're going to keep me anyway.
All you got to think is Kevin Samuels' mindset, and you got Dwayne right there.
Oh. Wait a minute. Damn, Dwayne.
High value man. That's what you got right there. That's what you got.
Dwayne, you might have to cut on your camera and defend yourself on that one, bro.
No, because I believe that he probably liked some of Kevin Samuels.
Man, I haven't watched no Kevin Samuels clips in forever. And before, when I was watching them, I was watching them just for laughs. Same thing I do on Twitter. I go on there just for laughs.
Yeah. You still watch them?
Not no more. But.
Oh, I want to do these after party ones here. Those two after party ones, I want to do them in the live show.
Which one? The one about the one that I had dropped
the C-SPAN
about?
caller.
No.
Well,
the C-SPAN one we can do. The other one we can't do publicly.
Why?
Because of the music, right?
Yeah.
What music? The one on you talking about the one that I dropped for CMT about CMT?
No, that one we have ready for you.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll do all of them. Go ahead, Rebecca. It's in your hands, Captain.
Well, last night as I was up in the wee hours of the morning because I couldn't sleep, I got up because the spirit hit me in my shanana, and I got up to pray. And I got on Instagram after I prayed. That wasn't a good follow-up for me to do, but I couldn't sleep.
With the Lord, but okay.
So I got on to Instagram after I prayed, and I said, because, you be friends with the celebrities in your head. So Monica, I'm like, why is she posting at this time of night? What's going on? So she actually posted about her being called out by He's actually a journalist or a reporter, and his name is Patrick Howley. And he, I guess, men with microphones, they got a podcast, you know what I'm saying? And so he went to discuss, and this was a few weeks earlier, maybe like a week or two ago, when the country music, what's the T stand for?
CMT is the TV.
Yeah. Okay. CMT. So it was the Country Music Awards, though. CMT Country Music Awards. So, what we have, let's take a look at what Patrick Howley said first, and then we'll get to Monica.
This award show was really kind of a train wreck. There was a chick who was co-hosting it, and they said that she tested positive for the Rona. So let's take a look last night.
I know all of you were looking.
I don't know who this black guy is who's hosting it. It's supposed to be country music. No offense. I mean, y'all have hip-hop and basketball. You know what I mean? It's like, just fly with your flock, bro. Not against you, but you're up here being like, the melanated people invented country music.
At the CMT,
we was making country music in Wakanda before Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard done stole the black man's country music. It's like, all right, bro. It's so angry. There were so many black people there, sorry to say, but like so many black celebrities who have nothing to do with country music. And it's like, why? No disrespect to to the funky brothers of music. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, Run DMC, etc. But I mean, like, country music's different. Country music's different. It's not Wakanda.
It's not Wakanda. I really. It's not country music. It's not Wakanda.
It's not Wakanda.
But that's funny. But Anthony Mackie is a well-known. I think isn't he going to be Captain America?
He played freaking Falcon in Marvel movies, and also is the new Captain America.
Thank you.
Okay,
so to disrespect him, and whites, they love the Captain America and all that good Marvel stuff. They love that stuff, so they know exactly who he is. Talking about who is this, and then to say who is this black dude. But that's not the issue here. The performer was Monica. And so, as I'll read what she wrote last night when my Shana woke me up and I went to the gram after prayer, she took to Instagram. She said, "I've never been more motivated, Patrick Howley. Although your feelings are likely shared by some, it's not by the masses. I have an all-star legendary team of true country artists that are currently working with me that would beg to differ because of the genuine hearts." And then she said, "I shared the stage with Jimmy Allen and Little Big Town, who we know are huge country music artists. This was the first of many times that you will see me. I see you caught that my skin is melanated, but you missed that it was tough." Monica, I could hear her saying that for sure. She said, I'm rooted in the word. I'm rooted in the word and built to last. See you soon, or should I say welcome to Wakanda. Gracefully. And then she says bows with Anthony Mackie. And so if Monica's actually working on a country music album, and she's been promoting that. Really? She will be doing country music. And so a lot of people, who have country music. Let me start here. Historically, country music don't belong to whites. Historically, country music is the start of it was from melanated people, out of Wakanda. So, and for a lot of country singers and artists, people who are true to the country music, they'll even give their props to the people who came before them and how the country music was taken and remixed and, to sound like it is. That's why when you hear country singers, there's a little twang in what their voice is. You don't hear that with regular white folks, but with the country music singers. Yeah, they got a little twang in there because it is something that was fashioned after black artists and black artistry. And so there are a lot of black country music singers who just don't get the shine. I've listened to them. I've actually, here where I live, I've heard them being interviewed on the country music stations because it's real country out here. But for this man who is, and he actually is a reporter for, of course, like Fox News and all these other.
Well, that explains a lot.
Here's the thing. For him to be able to just be blatantly racist is not the shocker for me. It isn't. But white folks just really, they come in and take stuff and then believe that it's all theirs. And then they'll say, well, good example, Twitter. Twitter being where it is and what it is due to black culture. If black folks didn't get bored and get on there and start having true conversations with each other and calling out white supremacy, arguing with each other about different things of our culture, start posting pictures of our looks and having conversations surrounding that, now creating a space called Black Twitter, Twitter wouldn't be where it's at, right? And I can say that for sure. But then you have people like white folks who now want all the power and want all the credit. And so now they do things like make their commentary on there and buy it out and things like that. And here we are where this white reporter came out of nowhere. Never seen this white reporter before. And he had the nerve to disrespect black presence at the Country Music Awards. And I hope that people rip him a new one. And then school him on country music and how it was hijacked, colonized. And then this is we're giving what you see here. And
for him to say country music it's just different. It's not this. It's just different. How? Because you think it's supposed to be only white people? No, my brother. Do you know how many black people are in country music these days and in topping these charts? You need to do your history, man, because it's a lot of black people doing country music. American Idol, it has at least 3 or 4 black people that are singing country music this season. Okay, it's just like y'all need to get over it. Y'all know they can stand it. Somebody just said it.
Babyface did a song with an artist. Yeah, it was really nice. It's a country song. It's a country R&B song too, honey. Because country music is really R&B. But anywho,
it is.
But I was listening to, and I'm like, this black country artist I have never heard of. Like, he's charting, but you won't hear him in groups like with people who are in country music. Nashville isn't going to be something that really blasts this artist for real. K. Michelle started off doing yodeling and country music. That's where her background is. Yep. So in her album, you'll hear her drop like 3 country songs often, and she always gives credits to the greats before her, black ones and white ones. And so now I think this understanding that country music is just white is crazy to me, especially if you hear how they're singing. That doesn't come from regular white style of singing. That's not historically. That is something that comes from black people. And
y'all can't tell me that Carrie Underwood don't have some black somewhere in there.
That comes with a hinge of soul. Yeah. Anyway, I say all this to say I don't like when these men, especially just men, get the mic, right, and get these mics and start these little shows and stuff, and just be loud and wrong. Girls and women is doing it too. They're doing it too. Hey, Rebecca, but something about these men grabbing the mic and just being loud and wrong. Hold on. And then the white ones, the white right-sided ones get on here and just be like black, ER, black, ER. Joe Rogan, black, ER. That's it. That's all they do. Everything makes them mad.
It's true. You got the baby crying, Rebecca.
Sorry, beautiful baby.
I'm like, it's not all men, by the way, because goddamn, I think we do pretty good. The majority of
it's different, anyway. But it's different over here. Like I get on here, I say what I say. Now I'll drop the facts of the news, and then I'll have my say about it. But honestly, I said this before. Majority of the podcasts that go viral are black men saying something against black women. And then we see white people from the right who are grabbing the microphone, and anytime they say something that protects their whiteness or what they think is protecting their whiteness, and they're speaking against black people or supporting things that are clearly racist, prejudiced, they go viral. And then we see podcasts like Joe Rogan. Spotify gives him millions of dollars just to stand down on him saying ER. Hard ER.
Hard.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it beat them boys.
Boys.
Island boy.
It beats them.
Island boy.
I'm an island boy. Anywho, stop playing with me. Look, stop playing with country music, okay?
Okay.
Ask about it before you get on your mic. And Wakanda is a really beautiful place. A lot of people are trying to claim it. And Atlanta can't even claim Wakanda. It ain't Wakanda over here either. It's too much of a precious place, and with black powerful people who do really amazing things. And so you couldn't imagine colonizing that place. You just couldn't.
Right.
You just couldn't. So the Country Music Awards could never be Wakanda. However, we can definitely buy it back. Buy it black. We can definitely pull up. That's why they got Anthony Mackie at the forefront. They want to be inclusive all of a sudden because they understand that there will be a time that black folks will start creeping up and start critical race theory. They don't want to be a part of that number. So they was like, let's put a black man on the mic right now so that we can get right in front of it before they start pulling out historical facts about white folks stealing songs, country songs.
Here it is, Rebecca. Here it is. What they mad at is that they came over here trying to gentrify hip hop music, R&B, and all our other shit. So now they get mad when we over here gentrifying country.
Shout out to the boy. Shout out to the boy, Lil Nas X.
Already ours. We can't gentrify something that was already ours. We allowed the artistry to be there. We said, okay, if you gonna sing, you gotta sing. Blue-eyed, blonde hair, you gotta sing. We just want to hear it coming from your soul. Okay, that's all we want to do.
But When they start imitating a little too much, it get on my nerves, to be honest with you.
Well, if you
they
can
say
sing,
imitation
you can
is the highest form of flattery, but honestly, it's just annoying me.
If you can sing, you can sing. Honestly, I don't care if you're white, black. I don't care what you are. If you can sing,
not when they politics, they on there singing the soul and preaching their hearts out, black as they want to be, and they preaching white supremacy, and they, that's when I have a problem with it. But other than that, yeah, give me an Adele some singing any day. Shoot,
I have a problem with Well, Adele's from, the UK. They got a different kind of voice over there, too.
They did. I thought you were going to say they got a different kind of racism over there.
They do. No, they got a different kind of singing voice. I don't know. They could just, it's something that they can sing out there. But it's something about the...
Said that.
Iggy Azalea, who's from Australia. And people have a problem with her
I forgot she's from Australia.
People have a problem with her doing the accent or the black accent. I never really had a problem with that because when I hear artists like, and I'm going to say Eminem, love and mean it, we don't hear him talking like the man that we just heard talking about the CMT.
At all.
He just has it. He just who you're surrounded by. Now I know that Iggy Azalea's from Australia, but people had such a problem with her rapping in that voice. Yes. But then I heard the girl that does. I understood the assignment. I had that. I thought she was black. Yeah. That's a white woman. White. Completely white. And she is profiting off of this black accent and black. I went to go see her as well. She wears wigs, like Bad Baby. Not Bad Baby. Is her name Bad? The little girl that you said.
Meet me outside. Meet me outside.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That little
she
girl,
can actually rap though.
Wigs, she wears the wig. She does the whole thing, and she's benefiting from it, right? Right. She's benefiting from that whole thing.
Right. They can monetize our blackness. We can't.
We can't do it though. We can't use that. We can't. We out here. This is what we do. We wear the wigs. We don't wear the wigs. We have full lips. We got we have the accents. We have but for something.
Y'all have they have the butts. Remember when big asses were anathema? They're like, oh my God, her butts were so big.
Oh my God, now they have the booties. Now they have the booties. Same thing with the lips. The braids. The braids to the back. I said K. Michelle made a song called I Wish I Was a Kardashian So I Could Be Black. She said, put my face over Tupac, wear my braids to the back. Because I
never heard that one.
That is acceptable. And I love that song. And I hear it and I understand what she's saying. Hey baby. I hear what she's saying. And in this culture, no matter what we do, no matter where we are in it, this space that we're in, that man went viral for his commentary, right? White folks can get a mic and say the same exact things that we're saying. They don't even experience the same things that we're experiencing. That's why we make most of the news that we do, something that is either somebody talking against us so that we can step right before it and speak for our people from our experiences.
That's right.
But when a group of people who are, white are saying the same thing, it seems to be more grounded and more acceptable, more palatable for people to hear and to monetize.
That's right. It's the 5 heartbeats. Nothing but, remember they took them off the cover and put those dudes on the cover so they could sell it mainstream. It's still the same phenomenon. And I'm quite honestly kind of tired of it, to be honest with you, because I do not want to see blackness wrapped in white faces. No. I want blackness from where it comes from, right? From the original source. The thing is that the algorithm, the capital, the money, the structure, the infrastructure, the system, the policing, everything is structured to benefit whiteness in this country. So, Cash Me Outside, Lil Mama can go and become a millionaire, multi times over with that. With a black affect.
She just made.
But when you see a black person doing it, then
She just made, I think, over $50 million from OnlyFans.
50 million.
Damn.
50 million.
50 million.
How much Tiger made?
I'm never gonna hate on a girl who. I'm never gonna hate on a woman who, and she's to me still, a young girl growing into a woman. But I'm never gonna hate on these people taking advantage of their success to become all of this. But like I said, there are people who are doing the same thing in our space who get to just roll over in the bed, get on, put their camera on, and make money to support their whole life and things like that, who are white, who are saying what we're saying, who literally watch us to grab our talking points and utilize it on their channels and go back to bed. I have to do this. Fight for our people, say stuff for people who look just like me and you, or have the conversations where we agree to disagree. Get off of this, hurry up and go get lunch so that I can cook it before I log in or log back in to my 9 to 5.
Well, all hearts and minds are clear. Moving on. I mean, not moving on, but like sit in it. Like we got about 2 minutes left before.
We got about 2 minutes left. So people who are watching the show right now, if you haven't, follow us on, and below is all of our Twitters. I need you guys to continue.
Don't follow me on Twitter. I ain't going to Twitter no more. Y'all got that. Y'all keep that one.
I haven't
follow everywhere else though.
24 hours. You not on Twitter no more?
I mean, I don't know. Whatever publishes through Twitter is automatic at this point. I ain't giving Elon Musk no more of my data.
Okay. No, I said I haven't seen you on Twitter in the last 24 hours. That's
I ain't gonna be on. You ain't gonna see me there no more.
But
I'm good.
But yeah, just follow us on Twitter. You guys can follow me on Instagram if you would like as well at The Songstress. Help us build our community. Help us build our platforms, and so that because we're going to be doing extra stuff on on the side as well, and we want you guys to follow all of that and to continue to help us push forward so that we can again be unchained and be able to do this for you guys every day and know that we're just not a monolith even here. There are so many things that we can do to help us grow and to help us build and sustain ourselves so that we can continue to do this with you guys every single day. So follow the show if you haven't already, and if you got here, please like, share, and subscribe even after we get off the air. Share it with the family members, share it with a friend. It's a vibe over here. Continue to help us push the platform. Love you guys, mean it. We have reached the end of the show. I don't know if you guys want to keep it live. I don't know if you want to take it to the after party. We got a few more things that we want to discuss, and we'll see you there at the after party. I don't know what y'all want to do. What y'all want to do?
We're following your lead, Karen. Going to the after party, I guess. That's where we're going.
Okay, yeah, we're going to the after party. Love you guys, mean it.
Finish what we started.
See you there. Hey, I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna listen to that later.
Right, Rebecca. All right, y'all, we thank y'all so much for tuning in today. We are going to the after party, so if you're not a Patreon member, you can today. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/the BPD show. Make sure that you have your ass in the place on Friday. The patron party is going down. Karaoke edition. Not want to miss it. Be there, be square. All right, your affirmation for today is I am doing my best. That's my affirmation for the day. I am doing my best. So damn what everybody else say, I'm doing my best. All right, deal with it or get lost. All right, y'all, we love y'all, mean it. We will see y'all in the after party. If not the after party, we will see y'all tomorrow.
Talking to the grip in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same. We all want a meal in the safe. I want to live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grip, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
Truth in the glass in the mirror. Yeah. Do it at me, old man. Trying to pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that. And he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash. Got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with.